Shall we start? So this is Chetan Shetty. He was my classmate in Bishops when I joined in 1974. We have been friends since 1974, and so that's 52, almost 52 years. He did his engineering. 10th and 12th we were together. Then he did his engineering from College of Engineering, Pune. Then he went to work, and he did quite well in the corporate sector, and is still working. But his passion is storytelling, which he revived the art of storytelling in Pune a few years back, and so that people can come, they can express, and these I'll rather give it to him. He can tell about it, and then he will convey the story to us. So I would just request keep your phones on silence, and tea, coffee can be served. If anybody wants, you can take it later. And I think it will be interactive session. Yes. Thank you, Chetan. You can just take the mic.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad you reminded us to switch off our phones because I hadn't switched off mine, so that was important. Let me just make sure the mic is working. Is it on? Can we be heard clearly? Okay. Okay, great. Two friends they were, one soul, one heart. They met a girl and they could not understand her part. Hayavadana is a play written by Girish Karnad. Girish Karnad was passed away in 2019 at the age of 81. I consider Girish Karnad India's greatest playwright. I call him India's greatest playwright. He called himself an urban Naxalite. This play was written in 1971 and has been performed in multiple languages around the world. Today I am going to make an attempt to present just one little sliver. After all, it's a 2.5-hour, 3-hour stage play, and I am going to try and condense this into a 15-20 minute telling. So naturally I will be leaving out a lot. So I am going to present you one thread of this multi-threaded and multi-layered story. And as Bharat mentioned, it should be interactive. I will do the initial part of telling the story, but the second half of the session will be yours, where I hope, and I sincerely hope, that we can discuss the story together. I feel that the real beauty of most stories comes out when we get a chance to talk about it, and that's really the purpose of our storytelling endeavor that we carry out. So with that much of an introduction, let me get into Hayavadana by Girish Karnad. Kapil and Devdutt. Devdutt and Kapil. They were thick friends. They were always together. Though they were quite different. Kapil was quite muscular and always ready to get into the akhada. And he never lost a bout. He was so good. And Devdutt, on the other hand, was the scholarly kind. He read every book that there was to be read, and he could recite poetry from any poet for any occasion. Not only were they different in their tastes and physical and intellectual capabilities, they also came from rather different social and economic backgrounds. Kapil's father was the blacksmith to the king of Dharampura, whereas Devdutt's father was the learned scholar Vidyasagar who everybody knew all over the kingdom. And yet, as different as they were thick as thieves. So close. Maybe they felt that each one completed the other. That was the kind of friendship that they had. Once in their grown days, they were young men at that time, Devdutt was terribly distracted. He was not able to focus on anything and he was very, very disturbed. And Kapil kept prompting him saying, "Tell me, my friend, what is wrong? What is wrong?" And he would just keep denying it. And finally, because of Kapil's persistent questioning, he finally confessed and said that he had fallen in love with a girl called Padmini from the moment he laid his eyes on her. Her forelocks are like bees. Her arms are like lotus creepers and her face is the lotus. Her beauty is a magic lake. Her breasts are those golden urns and her waist is, and on and on and on. But ever since Devdutt had seen Padmini, he had not been able to read, recite poetry, do any work. He was just totally lost. And yet Devdutt lamented and said, "I know I'm not good enough for Padmini and I know she will never be mine. But if I could ever make her my wife, I will sacrifice my head to Ma Kali." Now, Kapil was almost amused by this and said, he thought to himself that Devdutt is such an accomplished person. He has such great lineage, good looks, so well educated. Any family in Dharmapura would be happy to have him as their son-in-law. So he confidently told Devdutt, "Don't bother Ma Kali, I will take care of this." And he went out in search of Padmini based on where Devdutt described that she lived. And he went and saw there was this huge mansion. And he went confidently to the door and he knocked on the door. And when the door opened, there was this wondrously beautiful girl there. The moment he saw her, he knew that this could only be the one Padmini who had knocked the socks off his friend. But she was so beautiful that all he could do is gape at her like that. And this girl was not only beautiful, but she was also supremely confident. She stood there with her hand on her waist, swinging her plait and said, "You knocked, didn't you? So what do you want?" And he said, I'd like to meet the master of the house. I'd like to meet your father." "But do you want to meet my father or do you want to meet the master of the house?" But aren't they the same person?" "Oh, you never know. The master of this house could be my father's servant. Or my father could be the servant of the master of this house. The master of this house could be my father's father. He could be my father's brother. He could be my father's cousin. So let's start again. Who did you want to meet?" After this haranguing, Kapil was like very, very nervous and he just blurted out and said, No, I've got a marriage proposal for you from the illustrious Devdutt." The moment he said that, the firebrand suddenly turned coy and ran in saying, "Ma!" And as she went in, Kapil was thinking to himself, "Oh my dear Devdutt, you are such a gentle and cultured soul. This girl is fast as lightning. She needs a man of steel. This is not the best match. But now what to do? You're so madly in love with her. How can I explain this to you?" But considering how madly in love Devdutt was, he went ahead with the marriage proposal. And despite Kapil's misgivings, the goddess of wealth that had blessed Padmini's home and the goddess of knowledge that guarded Devdutt's home, this was a marriage made in heaven. And soon, Devdutt and Padmini were married. And after they were married, Devdutt, Padmini and Kapil were the Ram, Sita and Lakshman of Dharmapura. And everybody loved them and enjoyed seeing them together. But all was not well in paradise. As you know, marriage is meant for a couple, not for a threesome. In some cultures, we are okay to admit a man having more than one consort, whether married or not. But there are very few cultures in this world, I don't know if you can think of any, where it would be acceptable for a woman to have two consorts. Now, Padmini loved Devdutt very much and she was devoted to him as a wife. And she admired his poetry and his wisdom and knowledge. But she also enjoyed Kapil's muscularity and his physique and his great energy that he had. And she would love getting him to do things and play around with him in a way. And she'd tell Devdutt and say, look at that boy Kapil. He looks like a devil, but when he giggles and he blushes, he's just like a coy bride. I love making fun of him. And it is true that Kapil did giggle and blush a lot when he was around Padmini. He sort of enjoyed the attention that she was giving him. Now, Kapil was devoted to Devdutt, and he saw his devotion to Padmini just as an extension of that. But it is true that in front of Padmini, he was like a little puppy dog wagging his tail and just waiting for her next command. And as you can imagine, in any love triangle, the person who burns the most is the one who believes that they have a right to exclusivity. And in this case, that was Devdutt. And Devdutt was burning with jealousy. He just couldn't understand what was happening to himself. He often complained to Padmini saying that Kapil should understand they are married now. He should give them their space. But Padmini would laugh him off and taunt him about being jealous. And Devdutt often asked himself, does she not see? Or is she really playing a game? But being the cultured, educated person that he was, he would not admit even to himself that he was jealous of Kapil or that he doubted Padmini's devotion to him. 6 months into the marriage, Padmini was now pregnant, and the Ujjain fair was going on in the nearby town. So the three of them decided to make a trip to the Ujjain fair. Now, the three of them decided? No, it was Padmini who decided, and Kapil immediately organized it, and Devdutt was just a reluctant passenger. Throughout that journey, Padmini and Kapil chatted away, and Devdutt sulked in the rear seat. On the way, as they were going, they came upon a certain location where was quite unique because there was a temple on either side of the road. On one side of the road, there was the temple for Lord Shiva, and on the other side of the road, there was a dilapidated old temple of Ma Kali. So they decided to stop there, and they said, come, let's go to the Shiva temple, it's much nicer. And as they started to go, Devdutt suddenly made a pretense of, not feeling too well and having some pain in his leg, and he said, no, you all please carry on, don't wait for me, I'll be here. And as they went, he said in his mind, goodbye, Padmini. Goodbye, my dear Kapil. I love both of you very much. Take care of yourselves. And so saying, he turned and he went to the Kali temple. The Kali temple was old and dilapidated. It was dark and dingy. But he stepped in there and bowed in front of Ma Kali's statue and said, "Oh Ma Kali, please forgive me that I have not kept up my promise. I had promised that if Padmini ever deemed to be my wife, she ever agreed to be my wife, I would offer you my head. I have come today to make good my promise." And so saying, he took Ma Kali's sword and with a hefty heave, he severed his head from the body. His head fell to the ground and the lifeless body collapsed. Kapil and Padmini returned from the Shiva temple, and when they came back to their carriage, they realized that Devdutt is not there. So after waiting for a little while, they guessed, he must have gone to the Kali temple. So Kapil asked Padmini, in your condition, since she was pregnant, you wait here, I'll just go and check whether Devdutt is in the Kali temple. So he goes to the Kali temple. He gets into the Kali temple, and in the dark and dingy Kali temple he enters, and he sees Devdutt's lifeless body there, and he is aghast. "Oh my Devdutt, what have you done? Were you so angry with me? Don't you know that if you had just told me one word, I would have jumped off a cliff? Shame on me and shame on my friendship. And if you are gone, what is the point in me living?" And he picked up the sword, and with an ease of a strong man, he severs his own head. Another head falls. Another lifeless body collapses on top of it. Now Padmini is waiting at the carriage. And now first Devdutt was missing. Now Kapil is missing also. And she wonders, what are these two friends gossiping about? Let me go and check. I'm sure they're talking about me. So she goes to the temple. And she goes to the Kali temple and she enters. And then that sight before her to see two dead bodies and two severed heads. And she says, oh Devdutt, oh Kapil, why did you all do this? How could you do this to me? How could you all be so selfish? And if the whole world will say that the two of you all died fighting over this whore, how can I live? How can I show my face to anybody? Then let me also die. So with great difficulty, she picks up the sword and she is about to pierce herself. When goddess Kali comes to life and says, wait Padmini, I am impressed with you. Put the heads of the bodies back together and touch their necks with the swords and they will come back to life. Very grateful, Padmini is fumbling to get the heads and the bodies together and she says, oh thank you Ma Kali, but tell me, why didn't you stop Devdutt or at least stop Kapil? If you had stopped any one of them, I wouldn't be in such agony. And shaking her head at Padmini's audacity, Ma Kali says, you know, you're the only one who told the truth. That Devdutt came here and said that he's trying to keep up an old promise. He wouldn't say that he's actually burning with jealousy and life is not worth living. That hunk of a Kapil comes here and says, oh my friend, and without you I can't live. He doesn't say that he knows in his mind that he would be accused of killing Devdutt and he can't face that. You're the only one who told the truth, as shameless as you are. And that's why I gave you this boon. And so saying, goddess Kali vanishes. Padmini quickly puts the heads together, touches them with the swords, and lo behold, the two bodies come to life. And they get up, and one says, oh my head, and the other one is saying, oh my body. And then, as they look around, they soon realize that Padmini has transposed the heads. That she has put Devdutt's head on Kapil's body, and Kapil's head on Devdutt's body. And after they get over the initial shock, actually they are thrilled and they start dancing around and saying, first we were only friends, now we are brothers, we are blood brothers. And they danced around and they start singing a song, no more tricks, no more fix, is this one that or that one this? But after they get over that little euphoria and they start talking about how will they go back and explain this to anybody, the question arises, who is Devdutt and who is Kapil? Is the head what decides who the body is, or does the body decide who the head is? Is it the brain or is it the heart? And of course, the bigger question, who is Padmini's husband? So the one with Kapil's head and Devdutt's body says, it is my hands. Sorry, with Devdutt's head and Kapil's body says it was my hands. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. With Kapil's head and Devdutt's body, who says it was my hands that tied the Mangal Sutra around her neck. The baby in her womb has come from my loins. So naturally, I am the husband. Whereas the one with Devdutt's head and Kapil's body starts quoting the Shastras from the education that he has and say the Shastras say that the head is the uppermost limb of the body and it is most important. And therefore it is the head that decides who the person is. And as they keep discussing this, it gets pretty tense and they almost come to blows. But the moment it comes to blows, they realize that now both the intellect and the brawn are with the same person. So it's not much of a fight. So they finally say, okay, let's ask Padmini, what does she think? And Padmini chooses the person with Devdutt's head and Kapil's body. Because naturally, she got the best of both worlds. She got the intellect of Devdutt and the physicality of Kapil. And when she decides that, so thereafter, for hereafter, just for the sake of carrying on with the story, Let's call the man with Devdutt's head as Devdutt and the man with Kapil's head as Kapil. So this couple with Kapil's head and Devdutt's body is absolutely crestfallen and heartbroken. But just as they are packing up to leave, Padmini goes up to him and whispers and says, "Don't be sad, Kapil. Take consolation in the fact that at least I'm going with your body." But that line does nothing to console Kapil. He's totally distraught, totally upset, distressed, and he swears to exile himself to the forest and says he will never come back to Dharampura. Kapil makes an exit and goes to the forest. Devdutt and Padmini return back to their home. In due course, a baby is born. There's a very, very happy family. They're all very happy. Devdutt is so impressed with his own body currently. And he keeps telling Padmini that this body has a mind of its own. He said, "The other day I was watching a wrestling match and before I knew it, I got into the akhada and I won the bout. I used to think that wrestling required brains, but my body acts on its own. It doesn't need to think, it just acts." And he's very energetic. He's always willing to go swimming and go out for a picnic and take his wife and child everywhere, quite unlike the Devdutt of old. But with the passage of time, Devdutt's affliction to books and studies allows his body to go back to the form that it was. And it becomes a little flabby, loses its tone, and he loses his physique. And he's not so energetic anymore. He's not so keen to go out and go swimming and climb trees and, at every whim of Padmini to go out somewhere. He's busy with his books and stuff like that. So his body begins to follow the interests of Devdutt's head. And Padmini is very distressed by this. She wonders why God will not let her have what she wants. That why she always left wanting. As time passes, she begins to dream of Kapil in her sleep. And then those dreams begin to transcend themselves even into daydreaming. And even every time she's with Devdutt, she's actually imagining Kapil and thinking of him. And she's feeling almost cheated. Now the baby is almost a year old. And Padmini once again makes the Ujjain fair the occasion and convinces Devdutt that he should go to the Ujjain fair to buy their baby some toys. So Devdutt goes off on his own to the Ujjain fair, and Padmini takes their 1-year-old baby, almost 1-year-old baby, and goes out in the forest in search of Kapil. And she asks around and finally finds Kapil. At first Kapil shuns her and says, No. What do you want to do with me? Why have you come here to find me? And she says, "My baby has never swum in the river or climbed the tree or felt a thorn cut his foot. This is your son. I brought your son to you." No. This is not my son. I didn't accept it then, but with great difficulty, I have now accepted it completely. After I've gone through such a difficult journey to try and forget, why are you coming back to remind me once again? And Padmini goes up to him and holds his arm and says, "Do you really want me to go?" When she touches him, the body, which was Devdutt's body, remembers flowing in the river of sensuality and making love to Padmini. And finally, Kapil gives in and the two of them make passionate love. Now, Devdutt returns from the Ujjain fair and finds no one at home. And after finding out that she's been gone for several days, he sort of guesses what has happened. So he goes into the forest himself with a sword in his hand and asks around till he finds Kapil's hut. Kapil and Padmini are actually quite expecting Devdutt's visit. And when the three of them meet, They don't meet in anger, they don't meet in joy, but they meet with this certain sense of fatality, knowing that what has to happen is now going to happen. Kapil and Devdutt get into a ferocious battle, a duel, and eventually they both injure each other so fatally that they both die. Padmini requests the forest dwellers around her to build a funeral pyre for them. She says, make it a large funeral pyre. We are 3. And then she makes another request and says, inside the hut, my baby is sleeping. I don't want to go see him because he may make me change my mind about what I want to do. I request you to please take care of him. Teach him to live with the trees and the rivers, and tell all the forest dwellers that this is Kapil's son and they will take care of him. And when he is 5 years old, take him to Dharmapura to the scholar Vidyasagar and tell him that this is Devdutt's son, his grandson. And so speaking, she gets onto the funeral pyre and, true to her name, Padmini, commits sati. And as the flames are engulfing her, she calls out to O Ma Kali and says, O Ma Kali, when most women are dying, they pray that they get the same husband in their next life. You have not even left me that consolation. And so therein ends the story of Hayavadana, but begins the series of questions that it has left in your minds and probably left in my mind. And now the floor is for us to discuss it. So I would, please feel free to say anything, okay? And any views that you have about the story will be more than welcome. We don't need to follow a particular order, but just to try and move the discussion along, I'll probably ask some questions, and you're not going to be in the spot. Don't worry, we'll be there to help you out. Yes, please, sir.
Knowing that, okay, his body is back to the same form. No, I don't think she knew about it. She went because of her past infatuation. Yes. So I think once that is there, all will become immaterial.
No, but I think that it's
I think we'll kill the fun.
a very good perspective, I would say. When you tell children a story, children will often ask, what's the moral of the story? And we often tell them the moral is whatever you want it to be. So, I mean, each one of us may take away a different moral from the story. I guess we are, 30, 35 people here. I may have told one story, but if you've been visualizing it, there were 35 different videos that played in your head. So, each one of you, based on your own experiences, your own background, have perceived the story differently. So, you're absolutely right, we could leave it as it is. But if it has given rise to some questions, or you wonder why do we even listen to stories that have sad endings? My wife will ask that question, that why do we even discuss stories that have sad endings? They serve a purpose, and I'm just saying that sometimes you see a good movie and you're waiting to discuss it over dinner with your friends. So in the same way, we're creating the forum here, and if you wish that you don't want to discuss it, and your point
without sad stories, sad fun.
Yes.
That's the essence of life. Look at the poetry. People prefer the sad poetry.
Correct.
Everywhere, wherever you go, this is how people, it is happy stories, happy one, very few, because they don't last longer. So I think it's part of human nature.
Yeah. And just to continue on that commentary, I feel that we've all grown up on Hindi cinema, where the director or the story writer will always tie up all the loose ends. By the time you reach the end, everybody has been accounted for. The good have been rewarded, the bad have been punished. There are no loose ends. So I find therefore a story in which you're not sure who's the villain, who's the vamp, who's the hero, whether this one is right, that one is wrong.
But in this story, it seems like that anyone, whether all the three characters, whatever they wished, initially they got it. And for what they got it, they got punished.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear that, he said that everybody got what they wished for, but eventually they got punished or they didn't. So no, should we all get what we want or what we need? And
That's the question.
yes,
That's
and
also, this also leaves everybody incomplete. Completely incomplete.
yes, yeah,
No, what I'm trying to say is that in this whole process, all the three characters, at the end of the day, they die incomplete.
yes. You're right, Hemant. And I'd like to add at this point, the name of the story is Hayavadana. And actually, I never mentioned Hayavadana once in my story. Hayavadana is the half horse, half man. And that's a separate track almost in the story. In a way, I would say this is the central story, but Girish Karnad uses other tracks as a way of commenting on this story. And Hayavadana is this half horse, half man, who's very unhappy being incomplete. And eventually at the end of the play, gods grant him the right to be a full horse. And he's very happy being a full horse. It's not that he wanted to be a full man. He just wanted to be complete. And in a way, all the commentaries about Hayavadana are that the story is about our incompleteness or our discomfort with our incompleteness. That every one of us feels incomplete in a way. That
Do you think that any living being can be complete? Because I must say that in Sikhism, it is basically considered a person who dies, then only he gets complete.
Yeah. Did everyone hear him? Should I paraphrase the question? He said that in Sikhism they considered that only when someone dies they are complete.
And
Otherwise everybody is incomplete.
And the word used is like somebody died, we don't say कि उसका देहांत हो गया या वो मर गया, वो पूरा हो गया. Now that is
Lovely.
the phrase which is used in Sikhism.
That's very interesting. So
Yes.
interesting. Yes. Yes, Virat.
I don't think it's a sad story.
Okay.
I think it's a happy story because everyone, like one of them said, everyone got what they wanted and they experienced what they could not have done otherwise if the heads were not changed. So at the end of the day, everyone experienced whatever they wanted. So I don't think it's such a sad story. There is another way of looking at it.
Yes.
They wanted to live, they lived. They wanted to die, they died. So they all got what they wanted throughout their life. No? Every case, this is what they wanted. Nobody forced them. No one forced them to die. They all wanted it, they all fought. She died, she killed herself. So they all got what they wanted throughout their life.
Yes.
पर उनके किस्मत में लिखा था कोई पढ़ना चाहता नहीं है लेकिन लिखा रहता है.
And moreover, life is a confused thought process.
Yes.
The moment you like to see clarity in life, a straight line is not life. So therefore, it's a human way of living.
Yes. Correct. Yes, Tejas.
Sorry, Chetan, I had some follow-up questions on this story. So I just want to ask, does Devdutt, by the end, he has the body that he wants, I mean, but then you say it kind of goes to waste, right, because he follows his books and stuff. Does, just question, is Kapil in the forest kind of making his body again? Or?
Oh yes. If
And
I didn't mention that, that is an
that is the
essential
case,
part of the
right?
story. That in the forest, Devdutt's body becomes
Becomes
well-toned
gay.
and physical
So-
because he lives the hard
So
life.
does
there.
that kind of categorically answer at least what Girish Karnad kind of wants to say is that the brain does control the body and that's kind
Yes,
of what it is?
I think you have.
I don't think she went to the forest because of this. Knowing that, okay, his body is back to the same form. No, I don't think she knew about it. She went because of her past
Yes,
infatuation.
correct, yes.
So I think once that is there, all things become
Yeah.
clear.
No, but I think that it segues into the next question. That is something that we should all ask ourselves. That is the head more important than the body, or is intellect more important than physicality? And I would say that most educated circles, like the people over here, will consider that. I'll give you one example that always comes to my mind. If a child who is bigger than the other children in the class uses his size to intimidate or get whatever he or she wants from the other children, we'll all be very clear in saying this kid is a bully and that kid will be punished, right? But there are kids who are intellectually very superior and make all the other kids run around their little finger and manipulate them. And if we even see that, we will applaud them and say, "Kitna hushar bachcha hai." Right? Whereas that kid is actually intellectually bullying the other kids. He's not physically bullying the other kids, but he's intellectually bullying the other kids. So I feel we have tended to give intellect far more importance than physicality. And
so both are all linked together. You cannot separate mind and body. In fact, this is our perception. Mind is different, body is different. They are so closely related to each other.
yes,
Like if you are mentally sick, your thought, your body will, if you were studying all along, the body became weak.
Yes.
Everything is linked together, So, I mean, to normal code we say, okay, mind and body. But technically speaking, they both flow, they all interact with each other. All senses from the toes to tip moves to the body. They all are interlinked.
yes, that's true.
One hurt here. It
Yeah.
is your,
We have a yoga teacher sitting at the back there, so I guess that's what yoga is all really about the mind-body connection. I'd like to hear some of the ladies' voices on any thoughts or ideas that they have about the story. Yes, ma'am.
I feel here the story says that the mind does rule over the body, because in both the cases, it was the mind which, in the forest, it was the mind which made the body strong,
Yes,
and in the palace, it was the mind which made the body weak.
correct. You're right. So I mean, that's what the story
That's
tells
what the
us.
story.
Yeah. So I'm saying that that's also the reason why most of our diets don't work and gym memberships last only for 2 months, because eventually our mind takes over and the body doesn't follow. But I'm also leaving the question to ask you whether we are giving too much importance. This is only a question. I don't have answers for you. That are we rating intellect too high in comparison to physicality? Right?
Has to be a
Yeah.
In the history, if you actually look into many three personalities, start from Mahatma Gandhi. He
Yes.
was a person of short stature,
Yes.
but he moved India.
Yes.
Hitler,
Yes.
same.
Right.
Napoleon Bonaparte,
Yes.
same. So basically, the intellect and the strength of mind is what drives the world.
Yes.
This is what I would think about.
Very good. Good parallels.
And the whole thing is, I mean, while intellect is important, but there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance between the two. I mean, you just cannot say, because even when, I mean, you had a Hitler who had a great mind, a small body, but the fact remains that that same great man, a mind, sort of destroyed the world.
Yes.
So it's got to be, at the end of the day, like we say, हर चीज में moderation होना चाहिए. उसी तरह हर चीज में balance होना चाहिए. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well said. I think that's.
I have a few
there's a-
questions I'll ask.
Yeah,
last.
sure.
Hi. I think today with social media, it's become like if you admire the body and you want to go for the body, then you are considered to be flaky. And because I
yes.
think social media is making
Yes.
us change our views on so many things, including the fact that polygamy did exist then. And now it's an absolute no-no and marriages are breaking, etc., because of that. So I would say equal both mind and body.
And you've now segued into the third theme that I'd like to talk about, which is about polygamy, or rather, let's say multiple attractions, okay? Even if it's not to do with marriage. We're all, accepting the fact about that there are several men who will have, affairs and more than one partner, etc. But I can't think of any story in literature or in history where there has been a lady with two men and the story has not ended tragically, right? So my question again to you is that if you flip the genders, does the story even work? Is there even a story if the whole story was about one man and two women? And my own feeling is no. I mean, the story is interesting, the story makes a story because the story is about one woman and two men. So I'm saying that my question is that are we not permitting women to have multiple attractions and it's not socially acceptable, whereas we seem to say, yeah, it happens. when it happens to men.
What about Pandavas?
I think,
Pandavas is a good example. Good, I'm
I
glad you
think-
brought that up. It didn't strike me. Yes, yeah.
I think the animal kingdom is known to be polygamous.
Yes. Yes.
And we are forcing as humans, because we have a certain moral, certain values, code of conduct, and hence it is a struggle to be
Yes.
dedicated to one person. And we are able to achieve it. A lot of us are.
But it not actually depend on what probably history tells us. Like,
Excuse me, just I'll.
He wants to make sure it's captured on the tape, so therefore.
so sorry.
Yeah.
You should all listen to the.
No, like, whatever little you can go back to maybe around 1,500 years, the entire world, and more specifically India, has been basically into the battlefield. And who has been fighting there is the men. So what was in short supply is men. So basically they are to be fought about, contrarily to what stories say in the recent past.
Okay, that's an interesting view also.
I just wanted to say that I really admire the character of Padmini. She's really smart woman, and as her needs changed in life, she switched decisions at the right time, depending on her physical needs or social needs. And in the end also, she took such a practical decision for the child. Like, till the child is young, she, asks the forest dwellers to keep him in the forest, and as he would grow up, he would go back to his grandfather. I think she was very smart. It's a very smartly written character. I mean, very strong.
And even in that, she is looking for completeness. That until he's
Yes.
5 years old, let him enjoy the trees and the rivers,
Yes.
and then he takes to books. And I'm saying that there are many people in this world who may not follow the norms, but they sort of accept how they are, right? And I'm saying Padmini was a bit like that, right? Actually, there was no hypocrisy about her.
Absolutely.
She was
Yeah,
different.
Yes.
She was not the conformist woman, but she was honest, and that's what even Ma Kali says, that you were the only one who's honest. And, and actually I left out a line in the play at one stage when she sees her putting the heads together. Ma Kali says, you don't even have to be so honest, right? And what that actually implies is she's
Done it.
Girish Karnad is planting the seed of suspicion that maybe she transposed the heads
Purposely.
intentionally,
Purposely.
that she just intentionally did this because that's what she wanted, and she just went after what she wanted.
She's the heroine of the
I'm glad you said that, because I feel that sometimes we bring her out to be the vamp of the story, but she is the heroine of the story according to me, but I leave it, we have 35 opinions here.
She's the hero or not, she's the main character.
She's the main character.
I mean, it depends on how you look at her.
Yeah.
There is another way.
You may
there is
say-
another way of looking at it. The intellect lost.
Yes.
Intellect lost in the beginning
Yes.
because Kapil lost.
Yeah.
Sorry, that
Devdutt lost.
he lost.
Ah.
But intellect wins in the end because she says that after my child grows up, send her for higher education and all.
Yeah.
I mean, see what I'm trying to say. He has thrown so many thoughts. I mean, it's very, very difficult to say who is the winner.
Yes.
Because see, ultimately she understands the importance of knowledge. So she says, okay, after he grows up, send him there.
Yes.
But what was the? I mean, if she was so intellectual, if she was so intellectually, utpar, or she was so strong, such a strong lady, what was the need for her to die? Why? What was the need for her to leave her child to the mercy of someone else? Someone else 5 साल रखिए आप जंगल में, फिर लेके जाइए उनके पिताजी के पास, और फिर वो क्या करेंगे? I mean, I don't see. I mean, okay, these are different characters living their own emotions, living their own lives. How well they have lived is possibly left to their own judgment, because at the end of the day, everybody comes out a loser only. No one comes out a winner.
But Hemant, she was bold enough, strong enough to get us.
You can no. She was. I would say that she was. She or any one of these two guys also. I'm not saying that. I'm not lest I be considered someone who's against the man character. No, the fact remains that everybody, while looking for completeness, is incomplete. at any given point of time, all these things that we are looking for are momentary. One has to be absolutely balanced in life, have no great expectations from life, accept what you have and try to make the best out of it. उसको थोड़ा सा और अच्छा कीजिए. आप ये सोचेंगे कि हम भगवान बन जाएंगे, वो possible नहीं है. So this is, I mean, no, I won't say this is. I mean, this is what I feel that.
Of course, this is moral
He's looking for the mic. Yes, yes.
So actually, this has nothing to do with Padmini or Devdutt or Kapil. I was just looking at Anjaneya,
Yes.
and there's a very interesting story about why there is sindoor all over Hanumanji. If you know about it, please tell us. Otherwise, Bharat will tell us.
I'll tell that, but
Huh.
I'll tell after this discussion is over.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Anybody?
Yes, Reena. Of course.
Does love test friendship?
Does?
Love tests friendship?
The other question is, does marriage test love? Everyone has got his own question.
Just since you asked that question, I'll make a personal joke about it. My wife has drawn an analysis that all my friends' wives don't like me. Reena, I hope you are an exception to that rule. So I'm saying whether marriage is testing that friendship, I'm saying the relationship is.
We actually need to know the reason why she thinks this.
No, they obviously don't like me. So I'm saying they.
I didn't know this. I think you're quite popular.
It's just yes.
Strong messaging in it.
Because now seeing you, hearing you, knowing you for this particular period of time, I don't think anyone would not like you.
Oh, you'll be surprised, Emma. Thank you so much. Just before we, I would love the discussion to carry on, but in case people have to leave, I just want to make a few closing comments.
I have a few
about
questions before we end.
Okay, well, I just want to say
Yeah.
that I'm very grateful to Bharat for giving me this occasion. You have an art exhibition in Jehangir Art Gallery. I never thought that I would get an opportunity to tell a story in this setting to this kind of an audience. So I'm grateful to Bharat for thinking of me and calling me in for this occasion. And the interesting asides are that one of my friends said, "Wow, you're telling Hayavadana at Kala Ghoda." I thought that was an interesting analogy of Hayavadana at Kala Ghoda. And it's also interesting that we are doing it right in front of the Panchmukhi painting here that has got Hayagriva in it, which again is the horse head Vishnu avatar. And no connection with Hayavadana, but just the wording and the phrasing. So I'm just commenting on that. So you all have been. I also want to say, when we tell a story and we try to open the discussion, a lot of time is wasted in people saying, "Oh, you told the story so well." I'm saying nobody has spoken about that so far. I presume you liked it, but I'm just saying everybody focused on the story and how you reacted to the story, and that makes for a rich discussion. So I must say I am so flattered, and I consider this storytelling a success based. I always evaluate a storytelling based on the quality of the discussion that we have after it, and I want to say that you all have humbled me. I am so honored and so flattered by the discussion that we've had. Thank you so much. Oh, you've heard my views. I've been sharing my views as a part of it. I have nothing more. Yeah, just to summarize, I feel that the three key themes that I found in this, when you tell a story, you work with it quite intimately, and therefore I'm saying, I do believe that you do get a chance to grow with the story. So I feel that the key themes are, one is about this completeness and incompleteness, that we are all feeling incomplete. One would even argue that the reason Bharat paints is because he's filling something that's incomplete in him with that art. And I'm telling stories because I'm filling that vacuum in me. So therefore even art is a way of filling that incompleteness. So one is about the incompleteness, about Devdutt and Kapil actually completing each other, about Padmini always looking for the complete man, nothing to do with Raymond, but she was always looking for the complete man, and all of us looking, and the Hayavadana, the horse as well. The second theme is that of this debate about the head or the body, which is more important. And the third one is about women's desire, and that, is she not entitled to having a desire where we would give this latitude to men. So I think that these are the three key themes, and we've discussed every one of them. It actually came from you. I didn't have to lead the discussion into it. So I feel that those are my views as well. So
my questions still remain. See, I saw this, I don't know how many of us have seen this play before. I have seen it when I was still a child. I saw it in Pune in our Bal Gandharva or Tilak. I must be in class 5 or 6.
Okay.
Amrish Puri, Girish Karnad, he was there.
Oh, okay.
Then Om Puri, Deena Pathak was the Kali Mata.
Wow.
I don't know who. So it was an amazing, and I must be, I don't know, 12, 13 years. So to be very honest, I didn't understand what was going on. Although visually I liked, there were actually a horse on the stage in that play. And I think at times, I have vague memories because I didn't read. I just wanted to hear you out. There was a play on Broadway, Equus. I don't know whether it had some connections with it or not. I really don't know. It was done with that Harry Potter,
Yes.
what is Rad. So anyway, that is one part of it. Now, the question, I think Girish Karnad was always ahead of times. Whether it was Nag Mandal, where the woman's desire has been taken, and you conveyed it last year when you told the story, that how the snake comes and he makes love to her and the child is there, and then he says the snake test and she passes out. So it was beautifully conveyed. This again, it's about desires, about looks. It's very important. Intellect is important. But when it comes to physical needs and desires, you always tend to have everybody. Whether it's anybody, it's very natural. But at the same time, we try to balance ourselves and we accept, but like Haiman said, that, you may feel incomplete in something. We are both very short, but intellectually maybe we may be very this thing. But at the same time, we try to balance, which he says. And incompleteness is always there in all of us, which we try to do. So that again, that comes out. And I think again, like I said, he was ahead of his times, which you convey. And the third point was that, the patriarchy, which has been there in us. So that is the reason, when you say that there were 2 men and 1 woman, that is a question which nobody would this thing. So that is why, like people say that why this ending should be there or why it could rather have been there. That is one thing. Somebody mentioned Pandava. Now, this cannot be related to Pandavas because Pandavas did not have a choice. When they come and Kunti says, whatever you have got, just share. So they just honor the mother's word and they share. But here the woman is making a choice and so are the men. So this is a question about the choice which the women make and the men make and 3 of them make. What happens? I really don't know what happens to the child. I don't know. There is all question mark left. So that is there. So it was really nice, Chetan, and I think you had I hope we are very thankful to you that you came all the way and you gave us a lovely evening. And at the end, I'll just come to Salish's question. Why this is red. See, when Hanuman, and Hanumanji, he asked Sita, as per mythology, that why do you apply sindoor? So she's...
There is a little background.
Yeah.
Hanuman did not have, while they were conquering Lanka, he was not dressed in sindoor.
Correct.
No, that is later.
So, when they go back to Ayodhya, Hanumanji says, I am Ram's devotee, I'll go wherever he goes. So he goes into the bedroom also. And finally Ram and Sita said, Tu ja and he says, no, if Sita ji can stay here, I can also stay here. So then Ram says, and Sita ji says, ki ye dekho. Alright. So, when Sita ji says, now you can go, Hanuman, he says, if you can stay here, why can't I? She says, look, this is the sindoor I have on my forehead. This means that I am completely connected with Ram. So he goes out, he smears himself with sindoor and comes back, valle valle.
You have told what I was going to tell in a more humorous and a nice way. So that's fine. You have got the answer which I could have answered you. Thank you. Anyway. So I'll just request, incidentally, Sunita, can I have you there? Sunita also is a storyteller. She is not telling anything today, but she is also a storyteller. I've never heard her, in fact, so I think next time you should also say something. And I'll request Reena to, just a little token I have for you, so we can just, I'm really thankful that you came all the way. He came specially for this, and tomorrow morning he's going back. So I really am thankful to you.
Thank you so much.
And I would like to thank all of you who have come here for this. Thank you once again.
And Reena, you have to like me and prove her.